Yes, ready.
Hi, it's Kevin. I'm going to talk about incurred but not reported, IBNR, today. So incurred but not reported refers to claims, health claims, that have been incurred but have not incurred as a liability to the company but have not been reported. It could apply to other claims, but primarily it applies to healthcare claims. So the question is, why do you need an incurred but not reported adjustment? And the reason is because when you put together your financial statements and you want to consider what the liabilities of the company are, there is a liability in a self-funded or partially self-funded situation that you would have to report each time you want an accrual basis balance sheet. And also you might want to get those expenses into the right accounting period. So the way that you go about determining what is the incurred but not reported accrual is that you determine what is your average claim over a period of time. It could be a day, or it could be a month, it could be a year. It's probably better to take a longer period because claims tend to be pretty up and down, so you might have overstatements, understatements, and that's also an opportunity for an accountant to kind of influence the accrual to where the accountant might feel is a more appropriate number. So once you get your average cost of claim, let's just say we took 3 months and we determined what our average cost per claim. And then the other information we want to know from that sample is how long, what is the tail, how long on average does it take for these claims that have been incurred because the health care has been provided. Providers maybe haven't submitted the claims or have submitted the claims, but the claims are tied up being examined for documentation or necessity or other reasons. But in any case, once you know the average, and let's say in our example that we determined that on average it takes 60 days for claims to be settled. So now we know average claim per day. And let's just say that, for sake of our purposes here, that's $100,000. Or that's a big number. Let's say that it's $10,000. And then if we determine that it takes 60 days on average for these claims to settle, then our accrual would be 60 days times our average daily claim of 10,000. So you would have a $600,000 accrual in that case. Now, in some cases, you might need an actuary to help you because, such as in self-insured professional liability situations, the pattern of claim settlement, submission and settlement, it doesn't really exist. It's just sort of periodic. You could have no claims for 2 years, 3 claims over the next 3 years, 5 claims, 1 claim. It just jumps around. So when you get in a situation like that, in order for you to estimate your incurred but not incurred, you need to bring in an actuary, and the actuary will look at claims, outstanding claims, historical claims. They'll also look at the national averages, such as for organizations like yours, what on average, what are you out of the norm? Is your organization in the norm or out of the norm? And that national average or industry-specific average for what these data are in terms of average claims, in terms of length of time to settle the claim, might be better evidence for you to book your accrual. So you want to look at your own numbers, but you want to make sure, if possible, that you can substantiate those for reasonableness on the outside, and if it's a complicated incurred but not reported, that's where you need to bring in the actuaries who can take a more scientific approach to making this computation.
And Kevin, is there time for a question or two?
Yes.
So for a fully insured health plan where they cover health claims and prescriptions,
Yes.
is there a statute of limitations where they won't process a claim if you turn it in too late?
There are statutes of limitations for Medicare. Well, are you speaking for your specific plan or just in
Yes,
general?
for your specific
That would
plan
be-
for fully self-insured health
That would
plan.
be specified in the plan,
Okay.
because you have to look at the plan document. Typically, for a self-insured plan, there will be some limitations, but when it's self-insured, you also have the ability to waive those limits if it's appropriate. Well, you wouldn't really have those rights if it was a fully insured plan. I mean, you'd have to go argue with the insurance companies. So my experience with a self-insured plan is if we had a non-covered service, a one-time illness, these things that just pop up, then the executives could determine on a case-by-case basis whether we're going to cover this or not.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yes.